Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez. Behind the scenes is Nicole Letson, and we are so glad you are here because it is story time. Garruk Wildspeaker was one of the first planeswalkers designed for Magic, and since his original appearance in the 2007 set Lorwyn, he has had one wild adventure after another, leading up to his presence here in Core Set 2021. Today, for the season finale of Flavorwin, we are going to take a look at some of his iconic cards and then put them into a standard deck on Magic Arena. But first, let me say thank you to my patrons for making this all possible, as always. We will be getting back to the regular story videos soon, and if you want to vote on upcoming topics, make sure you use the link down below to become a lore mage today. And then Nicole will even say hello to you on our private Discord server. Okay, so who is Garruk Wildspeaker? Where does he come from? And why has he not yet been featured in a crossover promotion with Axe Body Spray? Well, let's start with the basics. Garruk Wildspeaker is a human planeswalker from record scratch. We don't know. That's right, Garruk's home plane has never been officially revealed or named. There is some speculation it will end up being Kaldheim, a Norse-inspired land only seen so far in Planechase. What we do know about Garruk is that he is centered in green mana, although he did use black for a while. More on that in a moment. He is also a warrior druid with a strong connection to nature, mostly through wild beasts, and his trademark weapon is a huge axe. Despite being 8 feet tall and weighing close to 500 pounds, he is an expert tracker and hunter and can move through dense forest without being seen or heard. Magic! Now, Planeswalker cards were added to the game in Lorwyn, but before that they went through several different iterations during development, and Garruk was one of the first characters that they explored. Originally, he was called Findari, and his card behaved a lot more like we would see a saga today. He'd come into play, make some Saproling tokens, then on the next turn double your number of Saproling tokens, and then on the next turn give them all +5/+5 until the end of the turn. And that loop would repeat itself over and over as long as he had loyalty counters on them. It ended up being not very fun because you had no control over what he did. It was very robotic. So over time, Planeswalkers changed to where now you get to pick what they do each turn. Findari became Garruk, and his Saprolings were upgraded into beasts, just in time for his debut in Lorwyn. From there, Garruk would go on to Chandalar, hunting the mighty Ursoth, a creature that was native to the plane. Unfortunately for him, things got complicated when he ran into Liliana Vess, who was seeking the Chain Veil at that time. She killed one of Garruk's summoned beasts, which he took as great offense. The two then battled inside an Onaki temple before Liliana tapped into the power of the Chain Veil and used it to curse Garruk in a wave of black magic. Liliana then fled, leaving Garruk to do what he still did the best, pick up the trail and start the hunt. He managed to track the necromancer to her home on Innistrad, but by now the curse was really starting to affect his mind. Fortunately, help would come from a most unexpected place. The angel Avacyn enacted the Curse Mute, a spell intended to help the werewolves of the plane, but it had some unintended side effects on other curses as well, including the one affecting Garruk. This cleared his head a little and allowed him to continue searching for a full cure to his condition, but ultimately he had to flee the plane when Cathars tried to put him on trial for a murder he didn't commit. The Curse of the Veil continued to worsen. It diminished Garruk's connection to nature, but increased his desire to hunt, leaving him with only one worthy prey: other planeswalkers. M15 put you, the player, in his sights with a special version of his card you could play against like a sort of boss character. And to be honest, I miss this kind of stuff. I think it would work really great, especially now on Arena. Anyway, Garruk went on hunting planeswalkers for a while. He even confessed to Jace at one point he liked what he had become. Leaving all that death in his wake made him feel like a powerful apex predator, even if he was no longer connected to nature the way he once was. Now, we are told Nicol Bolas gave Garruk special consideration leading up to the events of War of the Spark. He arranged it so that Garruk would be one of the few planeswalkers not present, presumably because him being there would have killed all the other planeswalkers before Nicol Bolas could harvest their sparks with the Elder Spell. So far, we have not been told exactly how Nicol Bolas managed to keep Garruk away, and perhaps we will never know. What we got instead was a story about his time on Eldraine. To be clear, it is not clear when things happened on Eldraine, although it is likely that they were before or maybe during the events happening on Ravnica, even though the set was released after. Either way, Garruk wound up on Eldraine and was almost immediately enslaved by Oko, and I cover all of that in a previous video that you can find in our Classic Episodes playlist at your convenience. For today, though, I will summarize by saying Garruk met the Kenrith twins, Will and Rowan, and through a series of adventures, his curse ended up being cured by the Cauldron of Eternity, one of the Plains' legendary artifacts. Now, Garruk is on the move again, following the twins and acting as their guardian from the shadows as his way of repaying them for returning him to his natural state. Where will Garruk turn up next? I really have no idea. They've been using Vivien a lot lately, and Nissa is up next in Zendikar Rising, so if and when we see Garruk again, it will probably be on Kaldheim, if that ends up being his home plane. For other clues, it might help to look at his showcase cards from Core Set 2021. Garruk's Gorehorn. This is powerful, but surprisingly fragile for 5 mana. Now, I looked at all 229 green beast creatures in the game, and this one seems to most closely resemble a Baloth. Those mostly appear on Dominaria and Zendikar, and indeed, in a webcomic published in 2009, it was confirmed Garruk did spend some time hunting creatures on Zendikar, at least for a little while. Garruk's Harbinger, again, looks like a Baloth, and the hexproof from Black could be a nod to the fact that Garruk has been purified from the curse of the Chainveil. Now we know that the planeswalkers in Zendikar Rising will be Nissa, Jace, and Nahiri. Now that doesn't mean Garruk can't be there riding Baloths, but he will not be getting another card, and it's unlikely he'll be part of the story. Garruk's Uprising. This enchantment rewards you for having creatures with power 4 or more. The art features a stampede of dinosaurs. Those are most commonly seen on Ixalan, but they do also appear on Ikoria, Dominaria, Tarkir, and even Ravnica. Garruk Unleashed. This card also does not give us much insight into his story. It creates generic beast tokens, and the art seems to deliberately obscure our location, as creatures are only visible through the glow of their eyes. That leaves us with just the Showcase Forest. Now, the other Showcase lands in this set portray the home plane of their respective planeswalkers, so it follows that this is Garruk's home. We just don't know where that is. We can probably rule out a few places. I mean, these trees do not have the lush jungle canopy that you would find on Ixalan, for example. I did look at the 597 available forest arts in-game, and I could not find any that had trees of a similar shape and scale, while also having that distinctive rough-looking ground underneath. So it's possible that this is still also Kaldheim. All we've seen of that plane, really, are its mountains, although you would expect the forest to also have snow. While we're waiting to see where Garruk goes next, we should cast him in our live-action Magic movie. And remember, we already used Dave Bautista as Perforos back on Theros. So that means our muscular huntsman will have to be played by Hafthor Bjornsson. He's only 6'9" and is still about 100 pounds short of Garruk's weight class. But I do not think you'll find anyone else on Earth who could carry that axe as well as the mountain that rides. Alright, with that settled, it's time to switch over to Arena, where we will put Garruk and his beastly team to the test. Here we go. Alright, so here we are with Garruk's Feast, as I'm calling it. Doing something a little different this time for Flavor Win. For the first time ever, I'm not using all of his showcase cards because the Gorehorn is terrible, and Uprising didn't really fit with what I wanted this deck to do. But instead, we're playing with some extra Garruks. So let's take a look at the whole list here. We're going to start out with some Gilded Goose to make some food. Garruk is a hungry, hungry boy. We've got some Stone Coil Serpents in here. It's kind of like a fearsome woodland creature. Like, I know Garruk never actually summoned one of these or whatever in the story, but it is very good against Ugin. It is very good against Teferi, and I feel like that's worth making room for it in the deck. We got a Primal Might in here just to have another way to kind of fight things that we want to get rid of. We've got some Unexpected Fangs, adding a lifelink counter and a +1/+1 on some of our big boys can really help get us some life back against the aggressive decks. Curious Pair, mostly just for making more food. We can kind of pretend these are like the Kenrith twins that Garruk is watching out for, I guess. But again, a nice 1/3 body to kind of stop Fervent Champion or some of the aggressive stuff, maybe. Ram Through is kind of our main removal spell here. Most of our creatures are going to be hopefully bigger than our opponent, and we can crush them and kill them. They also tend to have trample. And then things start to get really good right around 3 mana. Garruk's Harbinger, probably one of the better cards in the deck, especially because it can reveal either of the 2 Garruks from the rest of our deck and let us play those. These also work really great with the Garruk Unleashed because his +3/+3 ability makes these things bigger, so then they can dig deeper into your deck and they feed into each other really well. Savvy Hunter also fits with our kind of hunter feast theme, and she's in the right colors, and we're going to be using food tokens to draw more cards and kind of keep up the velocity of our big creatures, I hope. We've got a single bacon to a pie here because, why not? It's a flavor win. Garruk, as we already said, kind of the cornerstone of the deck. A few Wicked Wolves, more ability to fight things and get them off the battlefield, and another good use for our food tokens. Elder Gargaroths are our heavy hitters. These things are great drawing cards, making beast tokens, gaining life. They do whatever we need them to do. They can block flyers, they can trample over stuff. These are insane cards at 5 mana. And then we've got the big version of Garruk out there at the 6-drop, just to kind of give us one other thing to shoot for. And like I said, he works great with the Harbingers because they can find him. And then this Garruk works great with the other Garruk because his wolf tokens put loyalty counters on each Garruk you control. So if we have both out, they will both get counters. So that is the deck. I'm excited to see how this one does, but I really have no idea. It's probably the least tested of any of the Flavor Win decks I've done so far. So come along with me as we see if Garruk's Feast will be a winner or loser in the great Flavor Win Pantheon. Okay, here we go. Garruk, the mighty hungry hunter. Good opening hand here. We've got our Goose, we've got our Harbinger, we've got the more expensive Garruk, but we can work with that. We will keep this. And we are playing against Viklik with a very scary Rakdos avatar. We're going to lead off with our forest. Hello. Hello, I am Garruk. Hungry boy. We got our first food token. It's the boar. And our opponent has beautiful Heliod sleeves and a plains with no bird. So that is really great. We will, I guess it doesn't super matter. Oh, I guess it kind of, well, no, we can still put down the Harbinger, which we will do. Cash in that food. A little ramp action. Alright, so they're on a white and black deck with Impassioned Orator. Did you know this card was based on me? Like, the Wizards of the Coast called me and said, can we make a card about a bald guy who talks a lot? And I said, yeah, sure. So they did. Alright, so we are going to attack right through this thing. And if we want, we could even give it some Unexpected Fangs, which lets it dig even deeper into the deck, and now we get to gain some extra life. So I think that's pretty good. We weren't going to use that mana for anything else anyway. Alright, another Goose. Another Goose. So we can get that down there, thanks to our forest. And that's why there is some strategy to not playing your lands immediately on your first main phase. Waiting and playing them later when you have a better idea of what you're going to do can help. Alright, so they now have a Bloodthirsty Aerialist, which will continue to get bigger. We can answer back with, let's see, we'll have 3, play a land as 4. We can use 1 Goose because they're going to consume the food. So we'll have up to 5 mana, which is not enough to play the Huntsman. But we can certainly make a reasonable-sized Stonecoil Servant. I think first, though, we will attack with the Harbinger and see how they respond to that. Now he has Hexproof from black. That's not protection from black. So the Aerialist could still... they're not going to block at all. And we get to pick up another Garruk. Okay. So now, we could play him. He can't really do much. I mean, we could plus him, but we wouldn't get a lot of value there. I think just playing a 4/4. Let's go to 5. Let's make this a 5, because that way, even if this gets one bigger, it won't be able to attack through the serpent. If we just made it a 4, then they could outsize it with one creature, thanks to the Orator. Healer Hawk. See, I was expecting that on turn 1. So their curve is a little bit off. And a Witch's Oven. Interesting. So the cat combo is going to be in here somewhere too. So they're really in on the life gain. All right. So now we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still can't play the Huntsman because we spent our food last turn. But we can play Unleashed, which seems fine. We'll play him. We'll give his +3/+3 to the Harbinger. Now we are gaining more life than the life gain deck. Those Unexpected Fangs doing some work here. So we'll keep Stonecoil back as our blocker along with the geese, and we'll just attack for 8. They could team up with everything, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they triple block it, they could kill it. But I don't think they want to take 8 damage. That'll put them down to just 4. And it has trample, so even if they block and sacrifice with the oven, that also wouldn't help. So they're just going to eat their bird. Okay. Fine. So your aerialist is a little bit bigger. We get to grab our choice of creatures or Garruks. So we already have both Garruks. The wolf coming down and fighting something could be good. So we'll take that. Excuse me. And we'll get our other land out there and pass the turn. Green Cup for Garruk. Yeah. Okay, Revenge of Ravens. 4-mana enchantment. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses a life and you gain a life. Interesting. That does not discourage me from attacking. Especially because I think if we just play our swamp, we could play the big Garruk, destroy a creature, and then attack for like a lot. So we'll do that. We will destroy their aerialist, which they might just eat in response with the oven, even though it's not going to matter. Fine. Totally fine. Then we'll use Unleashed to give +3/+3 to our Trampling Harbinger. They're already giving us the good game. That's a flavor win for Garruk. Let's see if we can get one more. All right, we've had one flavor win, but what about another? We've got a good looking opening hand here. Some 3-drops into our 4-drop Garruk, and enough lands to get there, so let's keep it. We are playing against Jackie Boy with the intimidating Teferi. Uh-oh, it's a blue deck. Mystic Sanctuary. Oh man, are we going to get milled again? That was so embarrassing when that happened with Chandra. I can't even... Okay, so we'll start with our Curious Pair to make some food. We're going to probably save Stonecoil for our 2-drop. Another island, passed it back. Okay, yeah, I like doing Serpent here. So if they are a blue Flyers deck or a blue-white Teferi or anything, a Brazen Borrower, okay. Sets us back only slightly. I'm not too worried about the loss of tempo there. Heraldic Banner on blue, so this is very all in on the blues. So we could do another Serpent, or go with the Harbinger, or go with the Hunter. I think Harbinger, because next turn we can follow it up with Garruk and make it really big, provided it doesn't get bounced again. Gatwick, interesting. All right. So they got kind of a blue Eldraine draw cards thing going on here. I like it. I like it. I like our Hungry Garruk Boy a little bit more, though. So we'll do that. We'll get +3/+3. We can now safely attack right through Garruk. And we get our pick out of 7 cards. Gargoth is really good. We will have enough lands to play it next turn, but this is a Garruk deck, so do we go for the Garruk or the Gargoth? Let's get Garruk. All Garruks all the time. 24/7 Garruks. Still not as many as we had with Team Chandra, but another banner. Oh my gosh, Gadwick's been hitting the gym. Look at this guy. Wow. All right, one Garruk goes away, but we'll have the other one waiting. And a Verity Circle. I don't think I've ever seen that played in a constructed deck ever. Verity Circle, 3 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you may draw a card. And then they can force to tap target creature without flying. Well, that is really interesting. I think I want to get... Man, do I want to get Gadwick out of here? Yeah, because otherwise he's just going to tap stuff whenever they cast a blue spell. Well, first, let's see if they tap down the Harbinger. He's got 1 mana left. He could have like an opt or something. Nothing. Okay. So we get to hit him. We get our choice of... Take another Serpent. And now... I will play Wicked Wolf. And my intention is to use it to fight Gadwick. And we're going to also sack our food to make it indestructible. So Gadwick will die and our wolf will not, hopefully. He answers with an unsummon. Interesting. Alright. And you got to draw a card because the wolf tapped itself and it wasn't attacking. Beautiful. Alright, well... We'll get another food back and get our goose. And then we'll cook their goose. Alright, so they got 4 cards in hand, 3 cards in hand, a bunch of islands. Still holding that Brazen Borrower. But we got 2 pretty good threats on the board. They're going to replay Gadwick, draw some cards, leave some blue mana untapped so that they can play, I'm betting, another Brazen Borrower. They're hoping. Ooh, ram through. Or we could just get our Garruk out there. So with that 2 mana, are they holding a counterspell? We've not seen a counterspell yet. It doesn't super fit with what their deck is doing. But I don't think I want to burn a Garruk on the chance that they have a counterspell. Instead, we will try and ram through. And see if we can get rid of Gadwick that way. They did have another Borrower, which means they're going to tap our wolf, which means they draw a card. You know, Garruk is not one for these mental games. He's more of a beat people up kind of a guy. All right, so replay the Harbinger? Yeah, I think so. And then... attack with a goose just to send a message? No. Alright, still in decent enough shape. They are now going to start spamming out little bird tokens. Man, Verity Circle Gadwick is an interesting combination of cards. Double Mystics. Fine. Okay. So fortunately, our serpents can block flying stuff. Even our goose can block that in a pinch. They only left 1 blue mana up for themselves. So, although these... So this thing, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it makes a 1/1 blue bird. And with the double banners, they're going to be 3/1 birds. That's actually kind of scary. So I think now is the time we try to play Garruk. Resolves. And I think we're just going to use him to destroy Gadwick while we can. So they're not still tapping our stuff. And now, there's not really any point in attacking. We cannot get through the Mystics. So we'll just end it there. Alright, 20 to 9. We've done a fair amount of damage to Jackie Boy. Although his Air Force is about to come online. Another Gadwick! Ah, okay. Not going to draw any cards, just going to sit on a ton of blue mana. Deploys the Brazen Borrower. Yep. Gets to tap something. Ugh. Okay. Opt. That will make some bird tokens and let him tap something else, which makes the way clear to then attack and kill Garruk. This is getting a little out of control. I kind of wish I had, like, what, Extinction Event maybe would have been good. He's got odds and evens. Okay. So I think we just let Garruk take all that. No lucks. So what can we do? What can we do? Well, he's got plenty of mana left to either counter whatever I do next or tap whoever I try to attack with. So let's test the water with a goose. Okay, that resolved. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures. So I can use Garruk, make a beast. Although I won't be able to really deal with his flyers. So I think we're going to make some serpents. We got 5 mana. Okay. And the borrower. Sure. Yeah, we weren't planning to attack this turn anyway. A third banner. These guys love their accoutrement. Alright, tapping down more stuff. This is a very controlling blue deck. I have to say I am impressed. I do not think we are going to get through this one. In fact, Folio of Fancies. Yeah, our board is tapped. They have an insanely powerful Air Force. And now they have ways to draw more cards. Things are not looking good for Team Garruk. Well, let's see if this sticks. It do. Still don't like how they have 2 blue mana available though. But we'll try to get Garruk's Harbinger in here. And he gets unsummoned, which is going to tap some other stuff, which means this game is pretty much over. Yep. Okay, I don't really see any point in suiciding that into there. And we'll replay our Harbinger. But again, they have, let's see, 6, 12, yeah. Oh, tapping the goose gives them another card. All right, so they've got 12, 16, 20, they have plenty of damage coming up in the sky here. And we only have 2 blockers. And if they play any other blue stuff, they get to tap our blockers. So, yeah, commit to your attack here, Jackie boy. Sending everybody at Garruk. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Well, hunt's over.
And now they're using Fae of Wishes. Yep. To now tap our team. Why did they not just attack me and kill me? They certainly had 20 damage. Oh, it's tough to do math when you're, I guess, the aggressive blue deck. I don't know. They found a Jace. Do they want to win by self-milling? They don't want to win through combat. They're just going to try to mill me with the Folio, or mill themselves with Folio of Fancies instead of taking a combat win? What is going on here? What is happening? Why am I still in this match? Why do I not just concede? I think we just have to concede. I don't want to try and fight my way through all of this. Although I only need 9 more damage. No, I can't. Mill 2 card. Okay, so they do want to mill me. Slowly. We're at 38 cards. We'll pick up a land. Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to give them the satisfaction. We cannot hope to plow through this many tokens with our meager forces. So I'm going to throw in the towel here and say Garruk did not win this flavor win. But we will try one more. All right, here we go. One more shot at flavor win. We've got 2 lands. 2 geese. Garruk, and the mighty Gargaroth. I think that's worth keeping. Our opponent is Protein Kinase. Is that like a science term? They have a Yorion. We have played against Yorion before, although in Brawl, and we know how that goes. We're going to start with our goose. The goose is loose. And they opened on a Temple of Silence. Alright, 2 turns of doing nothing. We are going to get our Harbinger down here. Yep. I like the protection, well, hexproof from black. I mean, if they've got any black removal spells in there, they won't be able to use them. Wow, 3 turns of doing nothing. So we'll start by attacking with the Harbinger, just to see what's up. Kapow. And we get to look at 4 cards. We find a Garruk among them. We'll play our Swamp, we'll play our other Goose, and this way we will for sure have 4 mana next turn. Let's see if Protein is ready to start. Extinction Event. Okay. On Odd, that's going to kill everything, and that's a problem. Now we will not have the double green needed for our Garruk. Sure. Alright, Hunter it is. Again, very on theme for what we're trying to do here. Well, I would like to find another land. Alright, opponent. Gonna make some tokens with Castle Ardenvale. Very nice. We did find another land. Interesting. Alright. So that puts us at 4. That is enough to play the Garruk that they already know about. We might as well try. And then we will turn this into a 6/6. Not bad. They could have like Grasp of Darkness or Murderous Rider. Absolutely. That'll do it. But they killed Garruk and not the Hunter. Wow. So they take 6. And then we have the option to draw a card by cashing in that food because the Hunter says sack 2 foods, draw a card. We might do that. Ruined Halo. That's one you do not see often. What are they going to name? The Hunter? They do. Okay, you are protected from savvy hunters. They cannot hurt you. But we can still draw cards, which I think we will do. Draw a card. And it's a big Garruk. Alright, so now we just need to find some more lands. We're getting there. Alright. So we can still attack with the Hunter. Nothing will actually... It won't damage them, but we still make a food token, which is worth having. Yep. And then, do we want Gargaroth or Garruk? Let's see how they react to this. Let's see what they do. They have another Murderous Rider for it. Okay, fair enough. Which means that they would have killed Garruk probably instead. Alright. So now we gotta be careful because their life is low, but they have life link with the rider. They just put Yorion in their hand. We did not draw the land that we need to play Garruk. We could just ram this guy through, and they won't get any life from it. So let's do that and get him out of here. Now again, we're gonna attack, not actually hurt them, but we can use these to draw a card, hopefully finding another land, which will set us up great for next turn. Another hunter, which they still wouldn't be able to hurt them. Ooh, okay. I don't really see a point in playing. Well, I guess we could have played it because then we would have doubled up on our foods being made every turn. But all right, so they could play Yorion. They don't really have anything of value to flicker with it, so I'm fine with that. I'll play the rider. Okay. We could bake it into a pie. Or we could fight it with the Wicked Wolf, but that will give them life. And I really don't want their life total to be going up. So do we save Bake in the Pie for Yorion, or do we kill the rider now before they gain more life with it? Let's kill the rider now. And I know it's an instant, I could play it at any time, but I want to clear a path for the hunter to attack to make another food token. So that's why we're doing it on our turn instead of doing it on their turn. So now we attack again with the hunter, who will still not hurt Protean Kinase. Kinasi? I don't know. And they are gonna, oh no, they destroyed our food token. I am fine with them wasting Heliod's intervention on that. And then a Wrath. They are spending an entire Wrath on one hunter. That's usually a pretty good sign if they are that desperate for removal. All right, so they're down to 3 cards in hand. We, now get to play the Cursed Huntsman and make some wolves. This is great. We're in really good shape now, which is always when things get bad for us. So they could now play Yorion, flicker the Rune to Halo. Solemn Simulacrum, okay. It's gonna give him another land. Alrighty. So I like playing this Garruk. And we'll use him to buff up one of the wolves. Were they holding removal just for that? Intervention. Okay. So they are going to kill the wolf and gain some life. And more importantly, prevent us from making that wolf big. So do we cash this Garruk in for the emblem already? I think we do. Because we're holding another one in our hands. And Savvy Hunter will probably play in a moment, but first we're going to attack with our wolf. Yep. Block with the Simulacrum, which actually is great because it removes any chance for them attacking back and hitting our Garruk next turn. They do get to draw a card. Alright, they're up to 7 life, 4 cards in hand, one of which is the Yorion that we know of. This is getting awfully close to Flavor Win territory here. We are sitting on yet another Garruk, and this one's 1 turn away from his emblem, which lets us then get a creature every turn, which will be very hard even for a black-white control deck to keep up with. And they surrender! They cannot beat Garruk's Feast. So that is another Flavor Win. Great way to end this season. We've covered all 5 monocolored Planeswalkers from M21. I had a ton of fun making these videos and coming up with cool decks. I'm going to do probably a write-up on them available on magicarcanum.com, where we'll kind of talk about what went into the design and some other little bits of trivia and fun stuff there. So check out that pretty soon. I'll probably announce it on Twitter when that article is ready. If you like this video, make sure you give it the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And let us know in the comments, do you want to see more Flavor Wins? Do you want to see stories about other characters? This is a cool way to get the story mixed with the gameplay, and it's really easy. to kind of put these together for you. I can do one in about half the time it takes to produce a regular Arcanum. So they are nice little fillers, and I think they'll be a fun treat kind of as we get a little closer to Zendikar Rising. We're not quite there yet. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the hope you enjoyed season 1 of Flavor Win. And as always, be kind to each other, and I'll see you.